Everyone, welcome to another episode of Ball and Chain. What an interesting week it's been, or should I say capitulative week in the crypto game. Old Don has been up to his tricks and caused chaos around the markets, but it can't all lay blame on Donald Trump. There's been some other matters that have impacted and really hit us hard. I'll be covering that in the video very shortly. Today's video is largely going to focus on all the action that's taken place in the crypto markets. Because football, it's been international break, it's been largely uninspiring, pretty boring. Thank goodness we've got the Prem coming up next week. Because the international break is just dull as anything, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to hit on with the show. We'll do a little bit on football because I feel I have to. It's Ball and Chain, we can't not. And then we'll focus on all the stories, all the rumours, all the action around the crypto market. So strap in, grab a drink and sit down and enjoy the... Alright, let's go through the football updates. To be honest with you, I really can't be asked to do this today. I'm feeling very uninspired, and the crypto market has pretty much got me a little bit depressed. But this happens. This is how it is. We kind of a bit surprised in October, but this is the game that we play. Going to enjoy it. I'll give you my reflections, and I've been pretty consistent in what I've said. But anyway, let's go through some of these results. Denmark got a fantastic victory over Belarus. Scotland beat Greece in a great result for them. Some really good results for teams, right? This was one going back to the 9th Thursday. There's been a lot of games, so we'll just canter through and pick out some key ones. Netherlands beating Malta 4-0, not surprised. Austria had a fantastic 10-0 victory against San Marino. Bosnia surprisingly drew 2-2 with Cyprus. Faroe Islands got a great result of Montenegro, absolutely thrashing them. England beat Wales in a friendly 3-0. Poland beat New Zealand. No surprises here. I'm just going to look through nothing major there. Let's go to the 10th now. Germany got a good result against Luxembourg, but 4-0. I thought Northern Ireland's victory over Slovakia was a very good result for them. Sweden, focus on those for a second, are in quite a bit of trouble. They're lower part of their group now, and in danger of actually not qualifying, which would be unthinkable. But Switzerland's playing very well. So yeah, could Sweden not be at the World Cup? That means that Isaac, £100 million plus player, not playing in the World Cup next year. Seems unthinkable, doesn't it? But that could be the case. France got a good victory against Azerbaijan. Well, really, was it a good victory? 3-0. It's kind of expected. I think very much like England, you go into these games expecting big results, and as long as you do the business, I think that's all you can ask for, really, isn't it, as a fan? Iceland and Ukraine, game of the day, 3-5. What a goal fest. That's fantastic. Yeah, very interesting there. Good game there. You can ask for goals, can't you? Kazakhstan got a good result against Liechtenstein, and Belgium, uninspiringly 0-0 against Macedonia. What has happened with Belgium? They were always rated very highly, but done very little. Saturday the 10th, Turkey, a fantastic 6-1 result against Bulgaria. Spain, good result against Georgia. Georgia are no mugs, a good team and a very good result. Hungary beat Armenia, and Portugal got a 1-0 victory against Ireland, but arguably Ronaldo's performance was very much put in the spotlight. A little bit unfairly, he's a top player. But he's 40. Like, come on, guys. Like, you're asking a guy at the top of his peak to play. Arguably most would retire now. Ronaldo's still playing at the highest level, still banging goals in, and playing international football. He's gonna have off games, and Portugal still did the business. So I think get off his back. The man's a machine, and no doubt he'll come back and silence the haters in the next international game. Norway 5-0, great result against Israel. Italy 3-1 against Estonia. This is in England's group. I think Latvia and Andorra 2-2. Serbia lost to Albania. Pretty much opens that up. Let's go to the fun stuff. League One. Rotherham got a great result away against Southampton. Wimbledon, a resurgent Port Vale, let's call it. They've got some good results. So and Wimbledon have been on excellent form. So a 1-1 draw feels about right based on the form. Once again, Burton, calling all the people calling them out of form, really got a good result. 3-0 against Bolton. Exeter and Reading 1-1. Doncaster surprisingly lost 4-0 to Leyton Orient. They didn't put up much of a fight, so a really surprising result there. Stockport won 1-0 against Blackpool to a beleaguered Blackpool. I think Saxey Bruce and they're on the lookout for a new manager. And Wickham got again a good result against Wigan. They seem to be finding a bit of form now. Newport, who couldn't buy a win, beat Accrington Stanley 1-0 away. Milton Keynes Dons had a fantastic result against Bristol. Have been in fantastic form, but got absolutely thrashed, didn't they, by Milton Keynes Dons. Chesterfield, a very good result after their 6-2 defeat against Colchester last week. Pulled in a very good result against Salford, who have wobbled a little bit and always tend to wobble, don't they? The nearly men. Walsall have been playing very well, right at the top of the table. Couldn't got battered really. In that first half, Crawley were all over Walsall and went in at 1-0 up at half time. Walsall did come back in the second half, but not enough to get a result, get all the points, and they get a share of the spoils. Bromley continue their good form with a very good result away at Crewe. Fleetwood beat Harrogate. Gillingham, again, Cheltenham couldn't buy a win. They were 1-0 up for quite a while. Gillingham managed to get a point back, but their form continues to stutter. Colchester, after that excellent 6-2 victory against Chesterfield, have got a good 2-1 away victory against Grimsby. They're the team probably to watch. They look really on form at the moment, so worth considering and looking at them. Shrewsbury, a very good result against Cambridge. Who were again on form, but this is the most difficult league in the world to predict. League 2, anybody can beat anybody on any day. It really is. It really is a bit of a lottery of picking results. Tranmere got beaten by Barnet, and 0-0 between Oldham and Barrow. Let's go to Sunday's games. Scotland again continue their great form, a 2-1 victory against Belarus. Denmark again continue their great form, a 3-1 victory against Greece. Netherlands 4's the number for them, isn't it? Beat Finland 4-0. Poland beat Lithuania 2-0. Cyprus getting a very good 4-0 victory over San Marino, and Romania beat Austria 1-0. That's interesting, isn't it? Austria got that 10-0 victory and then lose 1-0 to Romania. It's just the sort of vulnerability of teams in this level. Faroe Islands continue to play extremely well. A great 2-1 victory against Czech Republic. I remember many years ago, showing my age now, where Faroe Islands used to get battered every single week. They're up there with San Marino, but they really have pulled some form and some quality together. And arguably a very difficult team to beat. Now they've beaten the Czech Republic at home. Tough place to go, Faroe Islands, now to get a result. Croatia, again, 3-0 against Gibraltar. Again, one could question, is that really a good result? I mean, expected to win, but 3. Anyway, 3 points is 3 points. A win is a win, as they say. Just looking a bit forward to tonight's games. Here we go. We've got Northern Ireland taking on Germany. Very big game for Northern Ireland. Can't see them. I mean, a point would be a good result. Germany probably need to win, so I could see Germany taking that. Slovakia playing Luxembourg. You probably expect Slovakia to win, but then again, who knows? Both teams to score surely between Slovenia and Switzerland, and then Sweden have to win against Kosovo. I think it's a must-win game. Iceland and France, you would expect France to win that, wouldn't you? Ukraine against Azerbaijan, expecting Ukraine to win. North Macedonia and Kazakhstan, probably looking like a draw, and Wales playing against Belgium. Well, Belgium absolutely need to win that game. Tuesday's games looked very much like Spain against Bulgaria, Turkey against Georgia, Portugal against Hungary, Republic of Ireland against Armenia, Estonia take on Moldova, Italy against Israel, Andorra against Serbia, and unfortunately England play away at Latvia. I say that because it's probably going to be a really boring game, and I'm expecting a 1 or 2-0 win for England, but we'll make it painful and tough. Riga's a lovely city though, if you get the chance to go. Latvia and Riga is a really nice place to go. So even if you are a fan, getting over there, you can have some fun. It's pretty cool, Riga. What we got on Wednesday, nothing. Well, women's football. We return to the Championship, hallelujah, on Friday, and I'll do a video probably on Friday or Saturday previewing the games. But if I don't get to it on Friday, then Middlesbrough play Ipswich in what is going to be a fantastic game. Middlesbrough lost to Portsmouth in their last game away, and Ipswich had a fantastic game against their nemesis really and rivals Ipswich. So both teams, well, Ipswich go in on good form. Middlesbrough always a formidable team at home, so it'll be very interesting to see how that goes on. Okay, very, very quick whistle-stop 8-minute summary. Let me know if you like this faster delivery and quicker way for us to go through this, keeping it short and sweet, but giving you a full update over the week's games and activities and exactly where we are and where we stand right up until this point, and previewed some of the games coming up for the rest of the week. Thanks very much. We'll move on to the crypto news right about now. It's coming over now. Oh, we need to talk about our friend, don't we? Old Don. up to his tricks again. Do you know what? Somebody in the Oval Office or somewhere needs to take his phone off him, don't they? Because, like, US has shut down, so clearly he's bored. He's got nothing to do. What does he go and do? Well, today he's going to, this week he's trying to settle the peace and be Mr. Peacemaker with Israel and Palestine. It feels like a bit of a mission impossible, doesn't it, at the moment? But I'm not here to talk politics at all. So Donald Trump, very, very vocal, been in the media a lot. He's recently been talking about the Canadian Prime Minister and that he's a great leader and a great man and negotiating hard with the US for, well, probably more tariffs, dare I say the T word. It is becoming a swear word, isn't it, in crypto at the moment. So what happened? Well, old Don, while the government's in shutdown and absolute chaos, job cuts are being talked about, but that doesn't stop Don wielding his phone and his words, which apparently caused an absolute meltdown. So on Friday, he issued a tweet on his True Social saying that he was going to charge or slap 100%, yes, 100% tariff on China, which obviously the markets reacted really, 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 really negatively. And tanked everything, like literally tanked everything. I'll show the story on the numbers and how that affected the crypto market as a result. But it wasn't just crypto. Stocks, everything plummeted like seconds after that tweet had been pushed through. Apparently it's in retaliation. What we're starting to see now, aren't we, is that trade is the new war. And that's starting to become a regular thing now where, countries just threaten each other with tariffs and trade wars. And that's been the feature of this year. And the markets have got uber sensitive to any words around there. So I've just put this up because, as you can see, obviously it's US and Canada, and obviously it's going to feature the president very much. But I think we also shouldn't lose sight of the impact of this government shutdown, which is still rumbling on. Donald Trump's constant tweets and efforts to peacemake, let's call them that, seem to be dominating the media. But actually, we shouldn't forget that the government's in lockdown and shut down, and there's a serious threat of job cuts happening the longer this carries on. So it really is a uncertain times for the US, and I think that's spooked the market. So let's hope we get the resolution to this shutdown. Trump has given a deadline, let's call it, to impose this tariffs at the 1st of November. Now, if you are serious and going to do this, you don't make an idle threat and give somebody 2 weeks. So my view, personally, is that it's just words, it's just a threat. And actually, he sort of said that. He issued a tweet a couple of days later, I think in response, because he'd obviously been advised that the markets had tanked, and said, look, it's all going to be all right. Uncle Don says it's going to be fine. Don't worry. We're all going to be all right. So basically, it's an idle threat. I guarantee in a week or two, Trump will come out, old Don will come out and say that he's taking it back down to 10% or whatever it was before. They'll all shake hands, kiss and make up, and I suspect we'll see the markets rally based on that news. Also, when the government actually starts to pump up again and we get the numbers published, my hope is we get more rate cuts and we will see risk on assets rocket and basically hopefully make up some of the losses they're going to have. Speaking of losses, let's do this. Let's have a quick look on CoinGecko. Now, it's worth saying that CoinGecko is reporting these numbers, but it's also worth saying that whilst CoinGecko is reporting these numbers, exchanges suffered very different losses. So, for example, on here, I'm not going to show Atom on here, but Atom is like the case at the moment for saying the impact of this, because I think it's rallied back up to $8 now, but on some exchanges, it actually went down to zero. Like, that is insane, and some coins did that. Now, without giving to, I was toying with the idea of whether I mention this or not, but I'm going to do it. So, my bank in the UK, I tried to deposit money on Friday night and Saturday during the dump. My bank rejected every single transaction I tried to make to a crypto exchange. So, obviously, I challenged that, and I tried to make multiple. I challenged that, and the bank said to me that they were protecting me from scammers. Okay, fair enough. I then asked if I could have the lock removed, to which they say no, because you've exceeded your monthly limit. Now, look, I've got no problem with protection. I think it's great. It should be there. But if I consciously say that I want to withdraw that money, my money that I've worked hard for, paid shitloads of tax on, if I want to take my money out and if I want to make a stupid thing, I'll do that. And my question to everybody is, do they apply the same stringent controls if I were going to push that onto Bet365 or Midnight or whatever gambling platform is of your choice? Probably not. I'd be able to dump loads of money in and the bank would not give a shit. So why do they care so much about cryptocurrency? That's the thing. And my worry is there's loads of these adverts that say, have you been scammed in a crypto thing? Well, do they do it for gambling? Like, if you're watching a football match and you get told you could get 10 to 1 on such and such to score first, and you put £100 on that, and obviously they don't do it and you lose it because that's what happens, the house always wins. Does anybody complain about that? Does anyone go crying to the bank? No. But yet you lose some money on cryptocurrency, and it's all of a sudden we're protecting our customers. So I actually think it's an absolute nonsense. It's ridiculous. I think the system's set up to fail us. And now I'm looking at, well, how do I navigate this now? Luckily, I'm able to find a way around it. But I'm not going to be able to do that very often. So like I've realised I've lost total faith in my bank. So now I've got to work out how I get around this, just because the system's set up to fail us. So my point is, I couldn't buy the dip, or I did manage to, but that wasn't till Saturday and Sunday when there's been a slight recovery. However, as you look up and down these numbers, you can see Bitcoin down. It is down 8% now. It did drop to about 10-15%, and if you look across, Ethereum's still 11% down in the last 7 days. That was actually about 20. Look at its recovery. You can see here, I'm just going to put it more on screen so you can actually see the recovery. That was its lowest point. So if you look, it's recovered there now, which is about halfway, or maybe even more. You're looking at about 30% dip. Same with Bitcoin. So I'm not going to count stable coins, and BNB has been on the charge. Like, that dropped. What a dip opportunity. I mean, that would have been a coin that I should have probably bought when it dipped, because it's recovered. It only went 5%, showed incredible strength. XRP down 15%, Sol down 16%. Like, these are one could argue, is this sale time? I'm going to take away the graphs now because you get the picture. It's all red, it's all nasty, it's all horrible. You can see some of the graphs. Solana down 16%. Doge 20%, Tron 7, Cardano nearly 20%. I mean, that didn't need to go any further. It was already pretty best. Chainlink down to 19, Stellar 15%. Look, it's just bloodbath, isn't it? Look, so for me, Sui at 286 is still an absolute bargain. 21% down. Yeah, surely that's going to recover. Surely that's gonna do well. When the recovery, if the recovery happens, what do you guys think? Like, I need to pause there. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is the bear market? We're here now, or do you think history will repeat and we'll see a recovery towards the back end of October for Bitcoin, and then maybe into November and December for alts? Will we see alt season? A lot of people are tipping a selective alt season, so not all coins will rally. I think though, when Bitcoin goes up, typically you see everything going green. Like, so you will get rallies. It's the rally against Bitcoin that is the thing that I've started to learn through this cycle. That, like, your coins might give you, in dollar terms or in pound term, a return, and you might be up. Right, so it's better than probably putting it in the bank. As long as you've got more than 4%, you've done better than getting the bank. I would argue that you would have not done better than Bitcoin unless you've been very, very lucky with your coins like Binance. Most aren't performing very well against Bitcoin. My big learning is Bitcoin has been the absolute winner, and my learning is that I've rotated capital into other coins now because I think there will be a note season at the end of the year. Had it been any other time, my money would be going into Bitcoin, and I would be dollar cost averaging than I already am. But I do dollar cost average, and I will continue to do that at any price Bitcoin is. I think it's proven its strength, its power against anything else. Unless you're like researching every day, unless you're sniffing around the markets all the time, this game is really difficult. And therefore my recommendation, well, not financial advice. If you need financial advice, speak to a financial accountant advisor. But my view is that I just want to get out of this game and just focus on Bitcoin, and maybe when ETH drops to below 2k to look at that. But I want out. At the moment, I'm just facing some heavy losses, and I just gotta hope that there's some recovery. But were a big career against Bitcoin? Probably not. Should I just cash my losses out and cash it all into Bitcoin? probably, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because if I write my losses off now, I've got nothing to profit against unless I sell some Bitcoin, and I'm certainly not doing that. So yeah, I am in this situation. I think if you talk to anybody though that's been going through their first couple of cycles, everybody makes this mistake. So it's not a bad thing. I'm just gonna wait it out. I've got a plan. I'm gonna wait it out, and then I'll be wiser for the next bull market and much more better prepared. Let's call it that for the next time this comes around. But like I say, Bitcoin is the daddy. It's the king. And that's definitely something that I will be remembering. Asta down 34%. Wow, that's what a fall that's had. Is it worth taking a punt on Asta? Could that recover once CZ starts pumping into that? Might be worth a look at actually. I'm just thinking myself. Down 4% in the last hour. Could Asta be worth a bit of a punt just to try and take some profit if it rockets back up? Yeah, I'm just looking at, it's averaging between 10 to 20% across all coins, unless it's pegged to something. You've not got that issue. But again, Story down to 33%. That was up there, wasn't it? As that time come, or will it cycle back? I think you've got to say Story and Asta have pumped quite a lot. I think Story had got, what was it, about $12. Let's just have a little look into Story, because that was an interesting one, wasn't it, when we were looking at that. I think if you look over the past month, actually, it had gone up. What's its high? What were we there? Yeah, $13 there, so nearly $14, and you've got it on sale now at half of that. So is that, if you want to double your money and it gets back to all-time high, is that something to look at? Let's have a look at Asta. That's another one that's quite interesting to me. Again, I'm using this, but check TradingView, check your accounts, because some of these are quite interesting. If you look at the last month, it's definitely up. But if we look across the last 7 days, it was at $2.14. I think it's been higher than that. I find it hard to believe that it wasn't. 209. No, so $2. It's not gone down that much, has it really, when you think about it? Yeah, it's not had that bad a fall. So Story might be a better call if you're looking just to return to the previous highs of this cycle. Have a look at it. If there's anything else jumping out at me, I think it's always good to just have a little look round Arbitrum. But there's also, you got to think Arbitrum. I think I've got some big token unlocks coming out this month, so again I'd stay clear. You don't know when there's big unlocks. You don't know what's going to happen. Pudgy Penguins down 20%. Is that an opportunity? It's a gamble. It's a gamble with stuff like that, man. Just gambling. Trump down $6. You know, if old Don decides to tweet some good stuff, is that one worth gambling on? Is he going to push that up? Look at PAX. I mean, PAX is pegged to the. Let me scroll it down a little bit there. PAX is pegged to gold. So, God, if you got into that, it's at all-time highs. So PAX would have been a good one. I guess it's kind of a way of investing in gold without holding the asset itself. Not sure how good that is. You know, it'd be cool to see one pegged to silver actually, because that seems to be doing pretty well as well. Silver and gold are at all-time highs. Tells you something, doesn't it? But let's see what happens. Again, my view in all this, and maybe I'm being a little bit negative today, but I'm feeling a little bit burnt. Not you know, it's paper losses at the moment. It's only a loss if you cash it outright. So at the moment, but I'm just feeling the burn, and yeah, it's been a horrible weekend, hasn't it? It's been a horrible weekend, but you know, this is the game we play. You play with fire, you get burned, don't you? Look at that. So this was over the last week. Not much fun, is there? Last day. We've seen some recovery, so we're getting some recovery there, but it's not. Synthetics is the real winner, isn't it? IP up 8%, 18%. World Liberty Finance up 10%, but enough said, isn't it? There, Asta down 2.9. So we're seeing a little bit of recovery. It's not a push, is it, on the whole issue we've had? So if you look at the last week, how much that's down in a week. You know, we've really had some devastation, haven't we, right across from that one tweet. So let me break it down. So was it the tweet? Well, no, it wasn't the tweet. Once the markets react, it cuts everything. So the big problem isn't Trump tweeting. Actually, we can get angry and blame Donald Trump, but actually it's not. It's people messing about with leverage. So what happens is you go in with leverage, which basically you can 10x or whatever x the value you put in. but you get liquidated. Once you hit a stop point, you get liquidated, and that's what happened. So I think it was over 19 billion. It's probably one of the biggest massacres that's taken place. Let me see if I can find out where it was. Like 19 billion liquidated. Yeah, so Strategy spent 27 million on Bitcoin before it crashed. Wow, nasty. Let me have a look at how much the crash was, because I think it was 500 billion. Let me just get that mark. 500 billion crypto analysis market. What after 5 million crypto crash. I'll say that again, and I'll say it without nearly stumbling. 500 billion crypto crash globally. Like 500 billion. That is just ridiculous amount. Now, one story that came out and was emanating from it was that a guy placed a short, somebody, could have been a girl, placed a short trade an hour before Trump's email, and profited by hundreds of millions from a leveraged short trade on the crypto market. Now, if that doesn't smack of insider trading, nothing does. And this is a whole trouble with it. And it's not just crypto, it happened in stocks, but this sort of insider bollocks is what kills the working person. So like, you're never going to win trading. Like my view is, and what I'm passing on my learnings, it's not financial advice, it's just my learnings that I'm imparting, are that unless you're down with people, unless you've got links, unless you've got connections, or unless you're just on this all the time and very, very lucky, you're not going to make trading. Like, just buy and hold Bitcoin, for fuck's sake. That's my take. Just buy and hold Bitcoin. Like, just buy it every day, or a couple of times a week, or every week, and just wait 4 years. Just wait 4 years. Like, wait for the next bull market. That's what I'm going to do. I wish I'd done that this time around. But I've learnt my lesson. Like, I'm a much better trader. I'm a much better investor for what I've learnt over the last year. Anyway, let's have a look at the market. And no surprise at all, fear and greed. Yesterday it was extreme fear. And what did they say? Buying the fear and selling the greed. So we've gone up pretty much 14. We've gone from extreme fear to fear today. So a 14 swing in the right direction. So it just shows you that people are still buying. Nobody's given up yet. Once it's going there, we've not dropped down into single digits. In a bear market, when you get extreme fear, that's often a really good buy opportunity. I took it over the weekend. We'll see. We've got 6 weeks to see if that's going to happen or not. Okay, is it alt season? Well, absolutely not. We're now, I would argue, we're probably nearer to Bitcoin season than we are alt season, but it's slap bang right there in the middle, more or less, probably teetering more towards Bitcoin. And I think that is really accurate. I do think we are in Bitcoin season, to be honest, and I think October will be Bitcoin season. My hope is that we might potentially see alt season November, December. But again, I think if you're expecting your alt and every single alt to pump, you will get pump with Bitcoin, but you're not going to get gains against Bitcoin. And that's what I've learned. My Bitcoin isn't going to get I'm all my alts won't have performed Bitcoin. I'd have been much better off chucking the money into Bitcoin. Now, chucking the money in this weekend to Bitcoin or my alts, I'm not sure. I actually think I might do better going into alts this week. So but all my purchases, like DOT, over the last couple of years have been a complete waste of time. Like, luckily I did put thousands and thousands of pounds into DOT, because I would be crying right now. I put enough in that if I'd have put it in Bitcoin, I'd been much better off. If I'd have put some of the money that I spent on alts at Bitcoin at 20 to 17k, I'd be probably laughing now, and maybe I've paid off a mortgage. But that's a learning for me. If I wanted to do that, obviously I'd probably just hold and continue to hold, but that's where we are. So that's where we are with the markets. That's where we are with everything. Bit of a 20-minute summary there of everything that's going on, and try to fill you in as much as I can with the news that's happening at the moment. What do you think? Do you think we are in a bear market now? Do you think the Bitcoin, the bull market is actually over, and it's now time to just cash in and batten down the hatches, go into cash and just wait for it to drop again and go back in and just rotate into Bitcoin? Or are we going to get an alt season? Is the history going to play out where, October is traditionally Bitcoin's month, and then moving into November we see a little bit more for the alts, and then December maybe it either blows off and we get the blow off top. A lot of people are saying Bitcoin to 150, 160k in the next few weeks. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get there? Do you think Bitcoin is still got room to run? Do you think it's over? Let me know in the comments. At the moment, I'm indifferent. I would hope it's not. But with Donald and his games, who knows? It's very unpredictable at the moment, isn't it? Anyway, look, thanks so much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've got something out of it. And I'll probably produce another. I'm working away for the rest of the week, so I'll be back probably. I doubt you'll see me Friday. You might do. Who knows? But I'll try and get back on over the weekend. And let's hope we've got a big smile. We've had green candles for the rest of the week, and things start to pick up. Let me know in the comments what you think. But like, subscribe, share the video if you wouldn't mind. I want to try and get that growth a little bit on here. But if I don't see you before, have a great rest of your week, and I look forward to sharing you my thoughts in the next video. Have a good one. Cheers, guys. Bye.